Morning guys, welcome back. As you can see on this bench here, there's a few bits and pieces which I will talk about in a minute or two. This is the second video regarding the modifications that I have planned to do to my parts washer. Now, it's completely finished. It's sitting right there. I'll show you in a wee minute or two. And you know, I was going to make another video similar to the previous, the previous one that I did. In that video, I had mentioned that I had about 10 modifications that I had in mind that I wanted to do, and I think I got up to about the 5th one in that, and that left me then this video for the other 5. But it turned out that I did more than I thought I was going to do. I wrote them down here because if I didn't, I would kind of forget. There's about 9, maybe even more. But anyway, look, if I was to go through the 9 or more modifications and explain them the way I did in the last video, it would take too long. The video would be far too long. So what I'll do is now, I'll just show you this parts washer, completely finished, and I'll talk you through the additional modifications that I done. Okay guys, stay with me. Okay guys, so here's it completely finished. And right, I'll grab my list before I start. I'll put the lid up and let you see. So we'll get this camera over. Okay, so first on the list was regarding this filter here. You know, I have seen, where is it? I have seen people on the internet and they get like a piece of green Scotch-Brite or a Brillo pad or something, and they cut a square usually and they zip tie it onto that. This is basically just to try and cut down the amount of gunk and sediment, etc., that would be swirling around here that would get sucked into the pump. And they've zip tied it. They've cut a piece and they've zip tied it onto the front of this here to try and cut that down. Now that works fine. I'm sure it works fine. But for me, I just didn't like the look of it. I thought it was a wee bit just a wee bit unsightly looking, you know. Not that anybody would be too worried about what the inside of a parts washer looks like. But anyway, I come up with I seen a guy on the internet, and he kind of did something similar, and that was this here is what you basically get. This is what you get. You just get like a piece of white fabric. It's like white Scotch-Brite or something like that. So what I seen a guy doing something similar, but his mesh was an awful lot coarser than that. I tracked down some stainless steel mesh. This is extremely fine. This is like 200 I think it is 200 strands per inch of stainless steel, so it's extremely fine. And so I cut 2 squares, and one will go in there. This standard filter will go in there, and then another one will go on the other side of that, like that. And between those 2 stainless steel mesh screens and the standard filter sandwiched between, I really don't think there's going to be much is going to get through that. Now I tracked that down. I think it was like everywhere else. It was China. I think I got it in. But I also bought other mesh that was 120 strands per inch, and just in case this is actually too fine. But I think that this is going to be great for keeping the gunk from actually getting to the pump itself. Now, I have seen other people, and they've went down the road of adding in extra pipes and tubes and then putting a fuel filter or a petrol filter, oil filter or something mounted on, and then they've hooked a tube to the fuel filter or whatever it is they're using, and then another attachment for this wand to go to it, and to try and sort of make the solvent that you're using as clean as possible. But that still doesn't. You're kind of cleaning the solvent after the pump. I'm trying to prevent the amount of gunk that would actually get to the pump. So that was modification number 6. Modification number 7 was again around this pump housing here, and I'll not lift it out, but you'll have seen in the very first video that I done, well, no, it wasn't the very first video that I done was showing you what you would use, like a roasting tin and a paintbrush, etc. like that. But the first video that I done when I actually opened the box and got this, and I showed how the back of this has a little kind of a housing that goes around the. I'll just move the camera around and let you see it. Yeah, you see this part here. It comes down. There's like 2 screws that hold this part, and this plate on the back of it comes down, and it cranks out and goes round, and just hooks onto like a ledge, an edge on the with a there's a rectangular hole. This comes through, and then this wee part here just hooks onto the side, and that's okay. But the problem with it is, as you get it, is that no matter how much you would tighten those screws, there's movement in it. It kind of shakes about a bit. It kind of will move about a bit, and I didn't want that. And again, I seen another guy on that done modifications to his, and he had just simply cut a piece of wood and just slid it in there, which was perfect. It worked for him perfectly. I did something similar, only I have this really stiff foam. It's about maybe half an inch thick or something, and I cut a piece 28 millimeters from there, and it just goes up in underneath that ledge, and you just slide it in, and it means that is as solid as a rock. What you could also do, if you wanted to, you could loosen those 2 screws. Instead of doing this here, you loosen those 2 screws and slip a wee bit of like rubber, like a bicycle tube, inner tube that that you'd cut, piece of rubber, slide it up in there, tighten the 2 screws, and then trim the excess off, and that would work. You also could glue it on there so that it wouldn't fall out every time you took this in and out. But anyway, I found that by sliding that wee piece of thick foam in there, just as a good tight fit, that's as solid as a rock. That's perfect, look. So modification 8 again was around this this pump affair, and that is, what you get is this tube here, and it normally just screws straight down into here, and that's fine. But there's always a but, isn't there? Anyway, if you were doing, and this is again personal preference, if you were doing something like you know, a bigger part like a cylinder head or something, swinging arm or something like that, and you've got this flow of solvent coming out, and it's close to the, you know, what you're trying to clean, the flow of it might be, in some cases, might be too much, and it might want to splash back on you. So I wanted to be able to somehow regulate that. And how I did that was I got this little male to female valve here. It's a wee ball valve. And you know, you can regulate the amount of flow with this wee knob here. Again, another Chinese thing that I had to source it. I'll stick a picture up of it, and you'll be able to actually see what it is. And the other thing is to screw it onto that, I had to take this little plastic knob off. There's a wee screw there. Take the wee knob off, put a rubber like O-ring on, and tighten it down. It's a 3/4 socket or 3/4 spanner, whatever it is you want to use. Tighten it down, and then sort of tighten it round to a place that allows, I mean, you don't want it to end up that the thing is for to attach the knob back on is against there. That would be madness. So you want it to sort of tighten it round in a way that you can actually get at the knob, and then just put the knob back on, put another O-ring on, and then just put this flexible tube back down on again. So what was that? I think that was modification 8. Oh, where's my list? Right, okay. I think that was modification 8. Right. The other thing is, I've lost count. Forget about it. Well, lost count. We'll go to modification 9 now. Okay, so I don't know. I have no idea what number I'm on now. I've even looked. My list's no good to me anymore. But anyway, it was in regards to this shelf. I wanted to move that down there. I pointed out in one of the other videos, I think it was maybe the one where I first got it out of the box, that wee edge, see that wee lip there? Now, it's the reason it's there is that it gives you the option of being able to sort of use both sides of the shelf, you know, or, you know, you can turn it up the other way, and you know, if this end at this side here gets a bit dirty and you want to sort of turn it over, and you've always got the option of, you need to have this part of it here that hooks on to these two reels that are welded onto the side. Now that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But no matter what way you turn that, you always get this edge here. You always get this edge. Let's see, I'll lift it out and let you see. That's the way it would be there. Stock. You always get that wee edge there. Now, fair enough. If it maybe stops parts from rolling off, because that's not actually level. I think that's at a slight wee slope to let the solvent or whatever you're using run off, and it maybe also is a good idea so parts don't run off. But if you were doing something, once again I come back to this, like if you were doing a swinging arm or a cylinder head or something, a bigger part, and you were setting it there and it kind of overhung that a wee bit, that edge would kind of be digging into it, and might be fine. I don't know if anybody else has modified it, but I don't like that. I wanted it smooth. So I did that, and you'll have seen in the previous video me heading up to the big B&Q shop and buying a piece of this aluminium angle. There, it's 15mm by 10mm, and I bought these wee bolts, and a I bolted that on, countersunk all these, bolted it on, and then I cut the top edge of that off. And then I took that back off again, and I thought I would touch it up with my my paint, but I ended up painting the whole thing, and as you can see, it's not as close a paint match as what I first thought. I thought my paint match would have been closer, but so I ended up I painted the whole blinking thing, and so anyway, what do you do? So there's that, and that again, as I say, that I don't. That's nice and smooth now, so that allows anything to be sat there, and that's absolutely fine. The only issue is now you're stuck with a one side. You can't, but so what? It'll always only be used with the one side. Okay, so what's this one? 10? Um, I don't know. What the heck have you got this bit of cloth in here for? Yeah, I can hear you say. What is that? That's the back out of one of my old sweatshirts. Well, I'll tell you what that's for, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I might, but um, when you're cleaning some parts, right? You're cleaning some parts. Inevitably, well, absolutely, the solvent is going to get completely contaminated with grit and the glaur that comes off whatever you're cleaning, and it'll eventually kind of settle to the bottom, to the base of this. It'll settle to the bottom, and it'll kind of just lie there, and then when it comes for you to draining out the solvent and cleaning out the tank, the bottom of this here will be completely contaminated. You'll have to swish away a part from there, a bit of it from there, and sort of let the solvent go down that valve that I put in the previous video. But I thought, look, and then you're going to be left then with a load of glaur that you're going to be kind of trying to gather up and scrape out. So I thought, well, look, if I put an old towel or an old something, cloth, whatever, in there, whenever the sediment goes down, it'll saturate this and this'll get contaminated with it, and that's fine. But it's not getting through to the actual base of the bath, the tub. And so I figured that when this gets when it all settles on that there, and this is completely contaminated with glaur and gunk, that you could simply reach your hand in and then sort of just sort of fold that over in on itself like that, and that would contain this wad of glaur, and then you just sort of get it like that there and put it in a bag and dispose of it. And although that'll not be clean, it'll be cleaner than it would be if you didn't have anything in. But time will tell whether that's a success or not. It's just I've heard you know, I mean, you can maybe put something better than that in, but you know, if you put something too stiff in there, like a piece of carpet or a mat or something like that, if it's rubber back and you're using solvent, it might affect the rubber on the back of it. Who knows? And it might then get too stiff for you to lift out, and it might be more trouble than it's worth. But anyway, that was that one. Right, so the next modification I have done is I've relocated the fire extinguisher that I had up here. And I've put this sign up my daughter bought me for Christmas. Brian's Motorcycle Workshop, which I love it, and I wanted to get her up there anyway. But apart from any of that, before I got this parts washer, I always had a fire extinguisher there, and I wanted it next to the door because, you know, I mean, for obvious reasons, and that was fine. I was able to reach it, and you know, and I never ever want to be using it. But if I did have to use it, I wanted it accessible. I wanted it next to the door. But the only trouble is that, you know, it's right. If there was a fire here, and nobody ever wants to experience a thing like that, you're reaching over the top of the fire to get to the fire extinguisher. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So it always was going to be relocated anyway. So I have relocated it down here. As you can see, it's relocated to here, and you know, so I'm still near the door, and it's right at the hand, right there. And I actually used the same wee nuts and bolts that I bought for fixing that shelf to screw it on, and it just fits on there absolutely perfectly. You know, like if you ever needed that, hopefully you wouldn't. You're right there. Okay. Perfect there. That's that modification, and forget about, we've lost count now. Right, next one. Okay, so for the next one, you know, wouldn't it be nice if you had like a couple of wee sort of clamps that you could clamp, or a wee something that you could hold that down? But that's not, I don't think that's really practical, because this lid overhangs the tub. And so I come up with this, and that is underneath here, there's like a ledge in here. I bought these again. These are off Amazon. I bought these magnets. They're pretty strong. Okay, so here they are. A bit of a struggle to get that there. A bit of fight up. These wee magnets here, and I bought 2 sets of those. They come in sets of 4, but you can get sets of 3, sets of 5, whatever it is. And you know, so I bought 2 sets, so 8 magnets in total. And what I've done is I've used the 4 of them, and I've just sort of put them up in that ledge there, like that. And I kind of just spaced them evenly. like that. And then when that there goes down, look, that just sort of, that's enough to hold that. That's enough to hold that. Good job. You know, because when, as I say, when you've got about 4 of them together, so there's a on either end, that kind of holds that from wanting to come up. So that's that one. Okay, so I think this is the last one. No, there's another one after this. I wanted a foot switch. See this? I wanted a foot switch. And the reason I wanted that was simply because, once again, personal preference, but if you were cleaning parts in that bath there, let's see if I can raise that up a wee bit. Right, if you were cleaning parts in here with a wee brush, and you know, this here's flowing out, and you've got a set of gauntlets or gloves or whatever it is on, you're having to reach round and hit this button, holding the one part while this is flowing. And fair enough, that's great if you want to do that. But look, I figured if I have that wee switch there, and I just simply put my foot on it, and while the fluid's coming out, and then whenever I want to stop, just lift my foot off. Simple as that. Anytime I'll be scrubbing away at this here, and I don't even have to worry about that switch. You know, just scrub away at the part, and then just stop, look at it. No, I want another wee bit. Not there. Do it. You're not reaching around and touching that there anytime. So I have that. Obviously, I pointed out in the in one of those previous videos that I got that light there. I put that light up. Where is it? There. So, you know, it's a wee LED light out of screw fix. So that is right above that, you know. So I've got these two wee magnetized clips here, and I don't know whether I like them or not. You know, they're all right, but just to hook your gloves in,